And joining us is David Armijo. He is the general manager of the Alameda-Contra Costa Transit District.
That's correct.
Thank you. David, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
As we talk about transportation and what Comto is doing, where and how did you get into the transportation industry?
We always say in transit that we all are an accident, that somehow we were meant to do different things, but once we got into transit, we found that we really loved it. So for me, it's over 3 decades. I got involved in public transit when I was returning from college from California to my hometown of El Paso, Texas. Got an opportunity to work for the El Paso transit system and got very much involved in the transit era, and then began what became a 3-decade career of working in 4 different states for a half a dozen different transit agencies, most of the last 20 years as a general manager or chief executive officer for different agencies.
Once you decided that this is where you wanted to be, how did you determine the altitude of your career, that you would move into leadership like this?
Well, it's a very good question. I've always told students and interns, I have 4 intern programs going on at AC Transit right now, and I was asked this question a few days ago, and so basically I said to them, I don't know that we know where we're going. We only know that there's going to be some kind of a roadmap and a path that will come forward. What I did know is I enjoyed working on projects. And what I've advised these young people is that if you can be very good at these projects that you do, that will give rise to other opportunities. And I think in my case, that's really what happened. I'm somewhat of an accident to be in transit, but it's been a great fortune for me and something I've really enjoyed, and I certainly encourage others. There's so many different things about transit, so many different facets and different kinds of jobs. There's a lot of great careers, a lot of good things that people do.
What have been some of the challenges, and then how have you overcome those?
We know there are a number of things. I jokingly say that I just introduced a day pass and a new fare policy program in AC Transit this past month. It's the 3rd time I've done that in the last 30 years, and it's been a great opportunity to do the kind of things that offer transit riders a low cost and a better pricing strategy so they can ride as many times as they want to for one price. I think that's a really good deal for the rider. It's always worked out to be very good for the company as well as the rider. We always try to set our fare products at what is a fair price, but quite frankly, we're here not as a business per se, but really as a community service. And so if we can make things possible so people can use the system often and not have to think twice about it, then that's a good thing for everybody.
I think I should come visit.
You should. We'd love to have you.
All right. When you look at the mission that Comto has, how does your position line up with the mission of Comto?
Well, it's a very good question. Actually, I'm a little different than most transit people. I mean, I've worked both in public transit and other different elements of transportation. Comto, and what few people may know enough about Comto, is Comto represents every facet of transportation. It can be the ports, it can be aviation, it can be highways and roads. My career has stemmed over those 3 decades in those 4 states, where I've actually worked as a chief of operations for a number of agencies, running operations for bus, rail, streetcars. Also, I was a chief operating officer for a couple of years for toll roads in Orange County. And so that gives me a different facet, and I think what Comto is trying to do is reflect all the different modes of transportation that we do in this country. So I would say that Comto's got a great challenge ahead of it, but it also brings together an awful lot of people who, quite frankly, should be working together because it's all part of a network. Mm-hmm. Whether you're on the water, roads, streets, whatnot, public transit can do a number of things.
In particular, Comto wants to address the needs of minorities being able to be at the table and to help level the playing field. Where does that fit in with what you're doing?
Well, in my 3 decades, I have to say I'm excited that I'm seeing improvement, both with minorities, people of color, women in transportation. I think we're making great strides. We have a long ways to go. There's still a lot of folks that are kind of maybe stuck in their careers, and I think some of the things that we do at Compton, what we're trying to do in this conference, is to bring young people into the process and bring in new ideas, because there are great opportunities, but we need people who will stand up and take that extra effort, get the extra job experience, as well as education experience and apply themselves. And I believe in time, we will break through those barriers and do better.
Which leads to my next question. We are here to encourage our youth, to open doors for them. How important is mentorship?
It's huge. In my career, I've been very fortunate. Other people gave me a chance, an opportunity along the way. I wouldn't be where I am if that hadn't happened. I've always strived in every organization I've been a part of to, if we didn't already have interns, to bring internship into the process or add to it. I'm very proud that this year we have 4 different internship programs with 19 interns. It's just the beginning, but we also know that the challenge of the economy and the times are such that not only is it good to get the interns in the door, but they need a couple years of experience or they cannot transfer that experience into a full-time paying job. And that's probably the next step in the challenge for all of us.
And as we wind up this interview, I want to talk about the legacy that Julie Cunningham has left. Where do you see that?
You know, this has been, tomorrow will be a very emotional morning for all of us. You know, I was very fortunate to get to know Julie. I was on the board as a board member for a number of years, and we worked very closely together, especially when she was setting up the office in D.C. Julie opened a lot of doors for a lot of people, especially with the current administration and a process that's still ongoing. I think what we learned from it is that, you know, Julie was one of those people in the transit industry that took some risk, tried some things a little differently, pushed the envelope a little bit, asked people to do more. And I think that was a big part of what Julie brought to the forefront, and I think that'll be something we'll remember her from, and that's going to be what we hope that Comto can pick up the ball and continue to go forward, and I think Julie would be very proud of that.
Thank you so much for being with us.
You bet. Thank you.